Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at how to win with Solgaleo right at the start of Celestial Guardians. It's just come out, and here's the deal, right? I'm not saying this is going to be the very best list in a month, 2 months from now when people have had weeks and weeks to refine it. But I'm telling you right now, this is how I'm playing Solgaleo, and I think this is a very fun way to play Solgaleo. Lunala, I'm not so keen on Lunala on a personal level. My issue with Lunala basically is that in order for Lunala to work, you need a really energy-hungry deck because it's got that ability to let you move all psychic energy from one of your bent psychic Pokemon to your active Pokemon. And the issue with that is that the best way to accelerate psychic energy is to use Gardevoir, but the problem is Gardevoir's a different stage 2 to Lunala. So now I'm potentially playing two stage 2 lines. Lunala is not exciting me in quite the same way. I want to focus on Solgaleo, but look, I'm going to have a play around with Lunala, and if I find a way to break this wide open, I'll be there for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be there for you. For now, I want to talk about Solgaleo. I like Solgaleo. And the thing is, it might be a stage 2 Pokemon, but we got rare candy. And then that's the answer, just to be clear. Now we've got rare candy. It is an absolute, complete and utter game changer. Now that we've got rare candy, we can play stage 2s much more consistently and easily than we ever could before. Also, while we're here, just quickly remember we've got regular Solgaleo, but then we've got full art Solgaleo, and then we've got ourselves the illustration rare, which matches up with the Lunala, and we've got ourselves the gold. So yes, there are 4 different types of Solgaleo. No immersive this time round, but still. And yeah, it's up to you which one you want to go for. For me, it's the Akira Igawa alternate art, special illustration, rare, phrase it how you will. As far as I'm concerned, they're the best. So what do we like about Solgaleo? Well, we like the ability Rising Road. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch it with your active. So you don't need to worry about getting in the active. The second you've got your stage 2 with 2 energy on, switch straight to the active and you are good. We've then got the attack Soul Breaker, 2 energy, 120, and you deal 10 damage to yourself. You got 180 HP, I'm not terribly worried about that. I think it's going to be okay. But my point here is, I don't think we can be mucking about with much else here. I think if we're going to be playing Solgaleo, we need to play Solgaleo. It's a stage 2. So we can afford to play some basic Pokemon by all means, but I think that is about the best we're going to manage here, is just playing a couple of basic Pokemon to fill out the deck. And I'll tell you right now, there are a couple from the new set that I like quite a bit. Like Klefki. Klefki's got 70 HP, which is a lot better than 60 in this game. Single energy, 10 damage, draw a card. But we're only playing 20 card decks. Drawing a card is a lot more impactful here than it is, say, in the Pokemon trading card game, the main game. It's equivalent of drawing 3 in that game. Single energy, 10 damage, draw a card. The goal here is we really need Solgaleo. So realistically, we're going to try and rare candy Solgaleo turn 2 or 3. Klefki is going to help massively. We don't really want Klefki getting KO'd, but one of the cool things about Solgaleo is, when your first Solgaleo is nearly KO'd, you should have had enough time to get the energy on your reserve Solgaleo, and then you can just immediately bring that into the active, using the ability, and off you go. The best case scenario here is forcing your opponent to KO 2 Solgaleo. And there is absolutely an argument here to basically just make your opponent attack them by not playing anything else. But I do think Klefki could help your consistency. And the fact that you don't need to worry about switching out into Solgaleo does help quite a lot. If you are going the Klefki route, might I suggest having a little bit of a play with Dawn. Because here, let's say it's turn 2. Well, you went second, you attached an energy to Klefki, used unlocked. And then on turn 2, you get your Solgaleo rolling, but you're only going to have 1 energy at that point. But you can switch using your ability, guaranteeing that there will be an energy left on Klefki, and then you can potentially use Dawn to move it over. Or very similarly, if your first Solgaleo takes too big a hit, and you need to switch into your second Solgaleo before you've had a chance to attach 2 energy to it, well, wonderful news, you can use Dawn to move an energy over. I'm not saying you have to play Dawn here, but I'm saying with a 2 energy Pokemon, and the fact there's going to be some energy on some others, I like Dawn. The other Pokemon I really like from Celestial Guardians here is Magearna. 2 energy, 80 damage against a Pokemon with an ability, and it's got 90 HP. This is not so good as a turn 1 before your Solgaleo's up and rolling, and I do think here you probably need Dawn to consistently have this rolling, but I'm also saying that 2 energy, 80 damage on a single point Pokemon, that is not too shabby. Otherwise, if we're looking at other basic Pokemon, there are a few that I don't mind too much. For instance, Skarmory. Now, the issue with Skarmory is you basically have to play some tools. Skarmory ain't going to work unless you play some tools, but having said that, Giant Cape gives you extra HP. And Rocky Helmet does extra damage, and we've even got the new Poison Barb, which will poison, and that damage will build up over time. So the theory here is that you get all of the tools going because they're going to help your deck anyway, and then turn 1 you can sit there hitting 50 damage with Skarmory, and the 80 HP gives it a bit more survivability, and then you build up your Solgaleo from there. I think Solgaleo is great for the 180 HP and the consistent 120. I don't think it is going to work with a bunch of other stuff, so what you really want is a basic single energy Pokemon to throw out early in the game just to give yourself a little bit of time to get your Solgaleo rolling, and I do think you've basically got Skarmory and Klefki. I think they are your basic single energy metal Pokemon that we are going to get rolling here. Yes, I know Dialga EX is kind of fun, but the reality is it's not a single energy attack. It only does 30, and sure, you get to attach 2 energy from your energy zone to one of your bench Pokemon, which will get a Solgaleo up and rolling very nicely. But then by the same token, I've got to manually attach to this twice before I can do 30 damage and get the energy on the bench. It just seems a little bit slow for what we're going for here. The whole point is, now that we have Rare Candy, we can get roll in turn 2 and then just smash with Solgaleo. And what you're relying on here is having 180 HP Pokemon, doing 120 every turn, and your opponent just not being able to keep up. So if you want to be going the Skarmory route, here is my current favourite list. I still think you have to play a 2-2-2 Solgaleo line, because even though we're trying to Rare Candy, it's not always going to work. So having the option of going, okay, fine, I'll evolve up manually, especially if you go first and you return behind on attachments anyway, yeah, it's going to have to happen sometimes. I'd much rather Rare Candy, but I think we still have to go with this. I'm sorry. We've then got just your 2 Skarmory, that's it, that's the entire Pokemon line. In terms of trainers, 2 Pokeball, 2 Professor's Research, staple in every single deck ever. We need the 2 Rare Candy because you need to get your Stage 2 out, and 2 Pokemon Communication. Again, that is swapping a Pokemon in your hand for one in your deck. That is giving you more consistency, a greater chance to get that Solgaleo out. After that, there's 4 spaces left. I've gone 2 Giant Cape and 2 Rocky Helmet, or Poison Barb. It doesn't matter. Choose your poison. I'm leaning towards Rocky Helmet at the moment just for that guaranteed 20, but Poison Barb can do more over time. That one's up to you. That gives you 4 tools for your Skarmory, which is not by any stretch actually guaranteed, but it will work quite nicely. I can't really find room for Dawn in this deck, because the only thing you can really cut is consistency or tools, and I don't want to cut either of them. So you are probably going to get Solgaleo out a turn later, but hopefully the 80 HP on Skarmory and the early pressure is going to be a fair trade-off. Now, here's the Klefki list. It's pretty gosh darn similar, but we've switched out Skarmory for Klefki, and we've got rid of Rocky Helmet and put in Dawn instead. We're still keeping a Giant Cake because we want the extra beef on our Solgaleo. We still need Pokeball, Professor's Research, Rare Candy, Pokemon Communication for that consistency boost. And then Dawn allowing you to swap energy. This is trying to maximize the chances of a turn 2 Solgaleo by basically, if you go second, you put an energy on Klefki. And then if you get that turn 2 Solgaleo, you're going to need to move that energy from Klefki to Solgaleo while you use the ability to switch in. That's where Dawn comes in nicely. This is what I'm playing around with at the moment. I love Solgaleo. It's my favourite of the box legendaries from Gen 7. I really think the EX has a lot of potential. Rare Candy helps massively, and I think it could be good. I've played around with a bunch of different stuff, but honestly, all I can see at the moment with this deck is go full Solgaleo and just have a single prize basic metal Pokemon to go with initially, and that's either your Skarmory for doing a bit of extra damage before you get rolling, or your Klefki for that extra bit of consistency. So there we go. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Do you think Solgaleo is going to work? Are you buying it? Let me know in the comment section. And if you've got a better way to play it, let me know down in the comments as well. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And of course, get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Stegaraptor, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is awesome, so shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.